And the company that I applied for this, when they met me at the interview, they were like, listen, you take this job, you're gonna go postal, you're gonna come in here and destroy all of us. so so they called me back 6 months later, and they gave me the role of a financial analyst. And I will tell you, it was one of the best educations, because I was never going to be a good accountant, but I was always going to be a good analyst. And
Mm,
analysis in general is the foundation of a business. So
mm,
I would say that yes, it's a leap in the sense that, obviously, like, there's so many more things that you do inside of a leadership position and stuff like that. But it's such a cornerstone ability to be able to like understand financial statements, to be able to analyze what the business is doing from a both financial and business sense.
yeah.
In it's like at least 30% of the job of a CEO. It's just understanding. So I'd say it's just another thing that I wanted to learn in order to become an effective entrepreneur. But the goal was
Yeah.
always entrepreneurship, and so there was just a thing that I was doing to be better at this job.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. And I guess like with your background, running Wage Point, you're kind of up against these like massive companies, right? Like there's ADP and Ceridian that have like unbelievable deep pockets. And this is very useful to a lot of our like small business listeners that they're in their own small business and maybe they have big competitors that are kind of like competing with them. So like in a way, like how did you compete against them and how do you make sure that they don't just kind of squash you in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reverse is happening because we have
Mm,
25,000 customers.
mm.
And like, so when we started, we were at zero. Now we're more than halfway where they're at.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. So the way you do it is that you just be yourself. I know this is like it's not a business strategy, but
This is
let me tell
philosophical again. Yeah.
you, yes, you have to become something that is different from what they are, right? Like,
Mm.
so in their case, what did I know about them? That people generally did not like them. There's a joke about ADP, and by the way, I don't really like to talk badly about competitors. I'm telling you what other people say. They seem like a fine organization to me. Like, I don't have anything bad to say
Yeah.
about what somebody else was. This is a joke about ADP, that you could build a full business around there's just the churn of ADP, how many people leave them every year. So especially in the US, but in general, like, payrolls is complicated, it's hard to get right. So I actually feel for all of our competitors. Like, if we were all together, I would give us all a group hug, just because it's a pain in the ass to manage. Because, like, we have to, like, the onus and responsibility of getting everything right 100% of the time is on us.
Mm-hmm.
And people want to pay us very little for that. This is the part
Mm-hmm.
that actually, if there was something that actually hurt me about the business, it would be this: that people are constantly to my face telling me how important this is and how critical it is, and we cannot get it wrong, but they only want to pay us like $60 a month or seven. And yet,
Yeah.
when
Yeah. Yeah.
you have like these, you know, like things like HubSpot cost like 100,000 a year, and it's just, it doesn't make any sense, right? You just
Yeah.
do
Yeah. Yeah.
how important it is, but you don't want to pay me a lot and
Mm-hmm.
yet we have to safeguard everyone's information. We have to get it right 100% of the time. So anyway, the reason I'm saying all of this is because all of us have the same challenges. It's how we
Mm-hmm.
respond to them again that makes a difference. So the way that we have always thought about it is, how do we build a business that can support 25,000 customers, where every single customer is still valued? How do we
Mm-hmm.
do that? So when we start from that North Star in mind and then we build back from that, that's a very different situation. And some of these companies have been around for a long time. You know,
Yeah.
they've sort of lost sight of the customer. That happens. Again, it's not a commentary on anybody. It's just the nature of this, right?
Yeah.
Partly what you'll find when you talk to me is that I'm typically very accommodating of the human experience, both good and bad. I
Mm.
just expect these things. I'm like, imagine if you've been around for 70 years, okay? Which none of us have as a company,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't actually know what will happen to us as a company. We don't know, like, your company sort of, I think the word is entropy.
Okay.
Basically, it's the organized chaos disintegrates into chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Just chaos, right? And so it's sort of like this idea that like you can't keep the whole thing together for very long. You have to have very dedicated people in every section of the business, like to have the staying power of a 70-year company and do everything right. So
Right.
that's kind of why I have a lot of kind of compassion. I'm like, this is not easy. But how you do it specifically, if you're a small business and you're competing against a large company, you need to have a very, very good sense of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know who you are. You need to know why it is that you're better than those other people. In our case, we told the customer, if you're unhappy with the way they treat you because you're just a number. So we would hear this all the time. If you're like with ADP and Ceridian, think about it.
Yeah.
Right? Those guys are servicing small businesses, medium businesses, and large businesses.
Yeah.
If your customer is TD Bank, there's no way you're going to treat the barber on the side of the street the same way that you treat TD Bank. And
Mm-hmm.
so we told everyone we're only going to focus on small businesses. Yes, that means we're going to lose revenue from medium-sized businesses, but who cares? This is
Yeah.
the people that we're going to commit to. And so that choice that you make, every single choice that you make reinforces the type of person that you are. And
Hmm.
don't mistake it for 1 second. Your company is a person to the outside world. It has a personality. It has a, like you yourself, Eric,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're a very dapper gentleman, right? You came in with just very, very put together, very, but you're still friendly. You're still very warm. All of that stuff, right? That's your brand. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, when I go to your website, that shines right through on the website, right? You even have a
Yeah.
little cartoon as your avatar, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what
Very
I'm
childlike, you know. Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying, dude. We're all kids. That's what I'm trying to say. This starting right. So the reason I'm sort of bringing this up is because I'm trying to say that your company has an actual personhood. Your job is to develop that personhood into the best person that you can think of, and then tell
Mm-hmm.
everyone about it, so that the people who
Mm-hmm.
are attracted to that type of person self-selects into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you, when you look back at your own strategy for your firm, I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you, you have been doing this, whether consciously or unconsciously. That's exactly
Yeah.
what you've been up to. So this is the point. Like, so if you're a small business, this is how you distinguish yourself. The way that we've always kind of operated is, first we've really cared about the customer, not just lip serviced it, but actually done it. So like
Mm-hmm.
very early on, we would do the craziest things you can imagine. For example, let's say someone was missing their had like somebody had chosen the wrong pay date. Okay, what we did is, and they were very upset with us. They had chosen the wrong pay date that had nothing to do with us, but they were very upset with us, which happens unfortunately a little too often. The upset part, not the missing pay date. But then what happened is we thought about the problem from their perspective. It didn't matter
Mm-hmm.
whether they were wrong or right. They were still stuck in this problem, right? So what we did is we went into our bank account, withdrew some cash physically, like we went to a bank physically. There were 5 employees, and we had someone deposit
Oh
money in
God.
those banks.
Wow.
That's just one instance. So
Yeah.
I'm saying that we just deliver, we commit to it, we say it, and then we do it. you
Mm-hmm.
know Obviously, as we grow, there's some things we can't do, like we can't do that
You can't
anymore.
do it sustainably, and yeah, yeah, yeah,
But then we invent tools, or we build tools so that we can kind of help the
yeah,
customer
and controls, and yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So we just do what we say, and we kind of, and like, look, as many grumpy customers as we have, most of our customer base is fucking awesome. All right. So what does that mean?